What's up? We are back. This is day 5, Path to Real Change. I'm now calling it Self-Mastery. I just want to take a second though. This is day 5. This is definitely not much to celebrate, right? But I don't know, it's still, the chain is still going, right? It's still the new year. We're early in the new year and started on the 1st, and I'm still going with this. I think I said yesterday, I think the real holy shit will be probably around 2 weeks. If we can get 10 days, 10 to 14 days in, I think that'll be, really something where it's all right, cool. I don't know if it's useful to look too much past that because, you get into the truth of the matter is real change. I think we're gonna need to get to day 90, where it's really starting to become, and this is just a sort of estimate, but where really these things are starting to build in a strong way. And probably the truth of the matter is, it's probably a year, 2 years before you can really, the transformations will probably take place. But I think so it's important right now though, day 5, just give yourself a little pat. I'm giving myself a little pat where it's I'm working my way through this. This isn't easy, and I was just thinking as I was doing this, got through step 1, right? I've come up with 4 initial steps to self-mastery, to begin the process, to build the foundations of real change and self-mastery. And I realize after I get in, I could change those 4 steps. I might realize after doing them, after really going through them, that those 4 steps need revision. Maybe the order needs revision. Maybe there's another step in there. There's probably a step after step 4, for sure. But the order could change. There's no way to know for sure, for me, until I get there, until I go through it. But I definitely had the feeling, just now in writing this is number 1, choose your why, your ultimate why, your bigger picture belief. Push yourself. What do you believe in? What do you think about all this? And I've done it. I have it. We went over it yesterday and I transferred it to paper. When we get to systems, I'm starting to think about a system that enables me to review it regularly and refine it. I don't know if that's a journal that's just dedicated 2026, my why, my beliefs, and I refine it who knows how many times. I don't know if it'll be daily, it might be weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, but it's I'm doing this and having to move on to 2. But I feel good about when I started, even just coming up with the choose your why, the bigger picture why, what I ended up coming up with for myself wasn't something I would have guessed. So it took that introspection, that kind of really philosophizing, kind of really going deep in my mind about what do I think? What do I believe? What's important to me on a bigger picture scale? Something came out of it that was super interesting to me is that realizing that I've never thought of myself as a spiritual person at all, but that I may actually be in some way, just operating more than I would have thought in this kind of realm of feelings, emotions and stuff. And I'm really curious about that and how it connects to spirituality and how the mind and the body and the spirit connect. That No one would have, I would have never sat down, anybody that knows me would be like, I don't often talk about mind, body, spirit like that, but that's kind of what came out after playing with it. So that was super cool. So today, getting into specifying exactly what you want. I think that's the next step down. Again, these should tie into each other. Again, this is just starting, right? And like, I'm sure that refining this over the next few days, it's gonna change completely. But I just started with like the first things, like if I were to ask myself in my life, and this is a much lesser, thing than the bigger, it's not a bigger picture. It's like, I found myself writing out like, for the first thing is like, relationships with my family, like great relationships with my family, like that. I thought of that as like the most important thing. It still ties into my bigger picture for sure, because I know unequivocally for me, that is, when I am happiest, when I'm like, feeling the best is when I'm with my kids and my family and my wife, and we're, maybe on vacation or something, and we're spending time together, and we're talking to each other, and we're, playing games with each other, and we're focused and listening and learning about each other and sharing, and for me to cultivate that, it probably is it's just more than anything is like, I get the most enjoyment, I get the most replenishment, I get the most fulfillment, I get recharged, I feel purpose, everything I can ask, like the more time that I spend or that I can spend with them, and experience things with them, the better for sure. So that definitely is gonna tie into figuring out my spirituality. But I think, I wanna write this down here is like, great, what do I want? I want greater understanding of my belief / bigger picture. So my wants, can directly tie back into, that bigger picture thing, like, where I won't ever lose it. It's always on my mind. If it's, super clear to me, like what are the most important things in my life? I mean, it's definitely, connecting or figuring out the purpose, a purpose in life, a bigger picture understanding is like, it should tie directly into all these things, but it's even in my, what do I want? Well, I want to continually grow that understanding. So it just, all these things should loop back together. So I'm just gonna go through mine right now to give you an example. If it's useful, again, this is, I'm doing this, for me to actually leave no stone unturned and like go through every step to build a foundation to really figure out self-mastery, to figure out how I can operate in a way that I go to sleep at the end of every night and I'm like, no matter what happens, I've done everything I could to feel like I did my best, and I tried to learn and grow and have fun and give all that. So, but I want to reiterate. It's like this is for me. This is useful for me. So thank you. But thank you. To anyone out there who's listening. It's freaking cool that we can do this, because it makes you feel like, one, it's accountability for me to in a big way, to like put myself out there. Two, it would be great if somebody takes even the smallest thing for this. Your path may be completely different from mine. and maybe you grab one tiny thing from this that's useful for you, or maybe you look at this and go, yeah, none of this is going to work for me. That maybe, though, that would still help move you forward if you need it. But let me know what you feel about this stuff, or if, if you've got any tips, I'm all ears. But I'm going to go through and hit a little bit where we're at right now, number 2. And man, I cannot wait to get to number 4, the systems and habits and the actions, because that to me is where it's like, we haven't really done anything yet. I haven't done anything yet until I can list out, like, all right, today I'm working out. Today I'm, calling this friend that I haven't called in a long time, because what I want is, great, great friendships. And, that's one small thing. It's like, but now I understand it on a deeper level, and like how important it is long term. So it's now all very clear to me that I got to build a system that makes sure that the people that I care about don't slip through the cracks and suddenly I haven't talked to them in years. And I'm sure all of you can relate to that. And it's not necessary to lose connections with people. It's a matter of being specific and clear about choosing the world that you want, and trying your hardest to ride the wave, to stay on top of it. And then if you fall off, to get back on, so that you don't. And for me, it's like, I don't want to get to the end and be like, I haven't talked to so-and-so in 30 years. And, that didn't have to be. Because again, it ties right in. It's like, well, I know that relationship, that example is like, that would fill me with those feelings, and maybe them that go back to the, bigger picture, the spirituality aspect. So let's go. All right. I want the best relationships I can possibly have with my immediate family. I just wanted to start with my immediate family. I definitely get to others in my family that I really care about. My wife and my kids, quality time and experiences. I want to continually learn about them. Even my kids, it's like from a young age. I mean, I want to learn about them as much as I want to try to teach them. I want to also teach them as much as I can about the things that I've learned in my experience. So that's one of my biggest wants. It's like, these things do need to be condensed down and to be really clear and really specific, so that you can look at them regularly and you can remind yourself of what's important to you. Great health and fitness. This is an area I'm super excited about, and I have been for so long. It's like going through spurts of getting healthy and fit and eating right, and then, falling off and going back to the old, reverting back to the mean, and, just not being that. But I want it. I want it as a part of my life that's consistent, and I'm super excited to get to, step 4, where we're building those habits. Greater understanding of my belief and bigger picture. We already talked about that. It's that's one of the things that I want. Great wealth and financial freedom. I mean, who doesn't want that? My argument for wanting that and taking major steps to be disciplined about trying to gain wealth and financial freedom is that the creativity that allows you, the feeling of security, I think there's definitely probably a point where you get where it pushing for that, if you're not careful, if you're not building from the ground up, can then start to threaten some of the other things that are more important, like family and community and friends. And like, you just have to decide what's more important. If you don't have a family and you actually don't get anything out of that, and or, whatever the case is for you. Maybe it is just, power through all your time in gaining wealth at that time. That may change later. But for me, that is one of the big ones to, keep it so I can focus on other things. And, continually getting to a point that I'm really feeling fortified, and able to continue to create and build things and build businesses and whatnot. Great success with my businesses. I've been very fortunate to, have some really good success with specifically one of my businesses, and I want that to continue, and I spend a lot of time on that, and that's part of that, growing, for wealth and fortification and safety and security and ability to be creative, to travel and to spend time with family, et cetera, et cetera. Great community, who are, spending more time with my neighbors and going to a few more of like the block parties, or, maybe, volunteering in my neighborhood for things and just helping out, and connecting with the people that live and go through life around me, and just trying to help them and get a feeling more of community. If you're an entrepreneur and you're a business person and and you're ambitious, how you go after things, and those kinds of things, at least for me, are the things that I've neglected, because I've just been pursuing, things that I want, and I don't have the time, for stuff to help out in those ways, because I'm I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that, and it requires my focus and energy, and I feel like if I do that, it's going to take away. But again, that's why I'm doing this, and it's if I can understand that, long term, community might actually, it might enable me to be a calmer person, or maybe feel more connected. Maybe my nervous system is, just more chill a lot of the time because I feel that connection. I'm just kind of thinking, but then maybe it does tie into all the other things that are important as well. Aside from that, it's just one of the things that they also talk about longevity and happiness is connecting with community. Great friends, this is an area for me personally, and I don't know, leave a comment if some of you connect with this. I've totally neglected my friends. If some people out there that, knew me in the past or whatever, ever see this, it's they'll relate, because they'll be like, oh yeah, I never heard from Ryan. It was definitely hard to get in touch with him, and definitely hard to get responses from him. And eventually I just, stopped. When I started my business, I was in my late 20s, and, just having kids and building a business from the ground up. And I was so focused on that, so driven, that it was and really even before that, I wasn't good with keeping in touch with people. And, even now it's gotten to a point where even when I have extra time, I'm just not in the habit of it. And I've really let friendships, just go. And, I don't want to focus on that and wallow in it, but you get what can happen if you're younger. It's if you're in your 20s or 30s, it's realize the time is gonna fly, and these relationships are important, and connections, and as you get older, I think they get more and more important. And if you don't have that history, it's you're starting from scratch. So I think finding people, though, that I think there is a trap with friends. I think it's why I never had, and a lot of you might be able to relate to this as well. Like, I never had good time management skills. I never had good boundaries. So what would happen is if I spent time with friends, like suddenly I'd be out all night, or suddenly I'd be, spending way more time doing things than I could, and it would screw up my life, it felt like. And so I had, instead of just like putting up some boundaries saying, hey, we'll do lunch, I've got 45 minutes, or, whatever, it was like, just cut it off. Like, I don't have time, I don't even want to think about it. Like, I need to focus on achieving and doing and growing, so I think that you should be careful about who your friends are. It should be a good balanced relationship in terms of feeding both of you. There should be boundaries, right? It should be, I think, again, I'm not an expert in this area, but I want to get there. But also, like, to find the people that are on similar trajectories as you are, that like this same things as you, so you can fuel each other. And again, for me, it goes back to that energy, that why, those feelings, emotions, the spirituality of it. Like, how can I amplify that? And even in friends, it's got to align. I put here, I came up with the number 3 great mentors. I don't know why I came up with the number 3. I might revise that later after I get 1, but I'd really love to find somebody who's way ahead of me in business, in entrepreneurship, and all these things that I'm talking about, that has been down this path, and maybe a little older than me, that I can see as a mentor. I want to find some people that I can go to, that I really look up to and can learn from. And then I guess I should also probably put down, I'd be open to being a mentor for someone, but I don't feel like, I don't know, even though I've accomplished some things, I don't know if I would feel qualified for that, but I personally would love to have a mentor. And I like to choose those, and I'm probably gonna go big with it. And like, it's probably gonna be somebody that's, way out of reach, but you never know. So that's an important thing. That's what I was able to get to today. I think that, again, I can see it sucks because it's like, I just wanna get to the doing, but I know that I gotta spend time with each of these things. And the list is long. So tomorrow will probably be like, this has got to, this will be wiped out, and I'll refine it and condense it, just like I did with my why, my belief system for now. And then I'll come up with something, and it'll probably be very long, and hopefully I can condense it down and make it just more, organized. And then once we get through that, we can go to the traits, the character traits, the sort of who do I want to be? Because for me, that's also, before I get to the actions, I want to understand, like, along this journey, as I go down these paths and commit, it's like, I want to know what's important to me value-wise. And I believe that people should ask them that, no matter, like, they should learn about themselves and their character traits. I think it can serve you, and we'll see. I'll see if it can serve me in understanding that and choosing them, and the ones that I feel like I'm weak on, that maybe I can understand that I want to be stronger on them. That's it for today, guys. I hope you've gotten something out of this. I love doing this. This is exciting. It's, it feels like everything's possible. I can definitely instinctually feel that the key here, as I do more of this, is to continue to keep going. I think that I was just talking about this with someone before I shot this. When you start to change, you try to do something very different from your normal path. the normal things that you do in a day, or you try to make any kind of change, there's resistance in so many different ways. Like things that you can talk about it, and you can say, oh, I know there's going to be obstacles and I'm going to run into problems, but what actually happens is crazy. What happens in your head, I think there's a part of you, there's some inner part of you that doesn't quite understand what you're doing. It's not your logical brain, and things feel different to it, and it throws up some shit. Like I've had crazy thoughts of like, you know, what are you doing? Like really like thoughts that it's like, stop. You know, this is, you know, doubts and, you know, fears and all kinds of thoughts. And I think that it's like any journey, man. You start to have these, any mountain you're climbing, anything you're doing that's challenging or difficult or change, and then people too. So you can throw other people off. When you change your habits and your patterns, it's like other people are going through their patterns and their habits, and like you suddenly change your timing, when you're getting up, what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you're communicating, even if you're improving it. It's like it can throw off the people around you and their habits and some, they might resist it. They might get mad at you. You got to be ready to go through all of that. That's why this is so hard to actually change yourself, because you've built up so many habits, and the people around, the gears are turning in a certain way, and then other gears are connected to that, people that are connected to that, things that are connected to that. And those things will stop your gears from turning. So you got to keep turning them until then they start turning, other things start turning, and then you have this momentum. But instinctually I can feel, and logically my brain can go, yeah, I know that's where it needs to go. I want to feel it more and more. There are flashes and moments that I have of like real excitement about, like when I get done with this and I'm like, oh, I did it again. I did, you know, it's just 5. We've just done 5 of these, but it's like, all right, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, just try to keep going, because who knows, you know, who knows what can hit whenever that's like, got to pull my focus. And if that happens, and I don't have a system built yet to enable me to get back going until I can get to, you know, 60 days, 90 days, like the longer I go, the more I will be able to get back on if something knocks it out of the water. But at this stage, it's like, this is the real stage where it's just like, there's no telling, you know? And I want to just stay focused on like, all right, can I get one more? Can I get one more? Can I get day 6? Can I get day 6? So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.